Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin is still continuing the upside move, and we haven't seen any change in structure since the last update. So Bitcoin is on its way still to a new all-time high as per our white or blue scenarios. In both, as you know, the assumption is that on the 5th of August, a low has formed in a larger degree, wave 4. It requires a break below the support area on the daily chart to indicate that the wave 4 is still unfolding, which is still possible, but would look a bit strange now. So with a move nearly to new all-time highs, the yellow count, while still valid, becomes less likely. It's already become less likely after we could identify a first 5-wave move up already a couple of weeks ago. That would be the blue count. Yeah, so it's pretty much between these two scenarios, right? Has the wave 4 bottomed on the 5th of August, which is ideal, or is the wave 4 still unfolding, which would be a bit messy and would require a break below support, so below 53,680 to confirm. This support area will have to be adjusted with the price until we get all 5 waves completed and until a wave 2 correction starts. At the moment, it's just there for orientation, and it will tell us which level needs to break to make the yellow count more likely. Bitcoin has broken out of the price channel. Shouldn't be a surprise. For the last few weeks, I've been telling you that in the white wave 3, the first ideal target is around 73.5K. If we don't even get there, I can't call it a viable third wave. And that was the purpose of the blue scenario, which is why I added blue, because we could already identify 5 waves up, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is just a different way of looking at the chart, a different way of understanding that diagonal pattern to the upside. So it's either 5 waves already complete in blue wave 1, which is why I added that support area in the first place to indicate that if we start a pullback earlier, then this is the area to watch for support. However, I mentioned to you the blue count has problems, various problems, which I don't want to get into too much, but one problem is that the third wave was too short to be reliable. It's not too short to be valid, so it's typically a textbook pattern here, this 5-wave diagonal pattern in the blue scenario, but the white count is the diagonal that is defined based on my own guidelines, okay? So the third wave reaching the 138% extension, for example, which is just what I found over the years to be more reliable. Not necessarily what the traditional Elliott Wave books tell you, but it's sort of my own guidelines to narrow down probabilities even further, which is what gives MCO typically an advantage over other Elliott Wave analysts who don't use these guidelines. Nevertheless, the price has now reached this target nearly. The blue count is not invalid. I leave it on the chart, but for the white count, we have to consider that another 4-5 pattern forms. So as I mentioned to you already in the last few weeks, I assume Bitcoin is on its way to 90,000, 100,000 plus to a new all-time high. The question is just, do we do it in the blue count? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in wave 1, then an A, B, C in wave 2, and then we go higher in a third wave? Or is it the white count, which is sort of based on my own guidelines, 1, 2, A, B, C in wave 3, then a wave 4, then a wave 5, that would complete wave 1, then we get the wave 2, then we go higher. So you see really only a difference in the details, wouldn't really change the overall assumption about the chart, which is bullish and has been bullish for, well, for years now, right? Since 2020, since beginning of 2023, when it became evident that the bear market was over. And here we came, it was getting difficult for the bulls, but then when we formed the next 5-wave move up, we could identify here the first evidence that we're on our way to all-time high already. All right, so let's take a look at the shorter time frame. Do we have any changes? All I said to you, I'm gonna do at the moment on the smaller time frame, I'm gonna adjust micro support. So as I mentioned in the last video, without any break of upper micro support, which is now defined between 69,770 and 70,516, without a break of that, there is no indication whatsoever that a top has formed. So the idea is we're pushing higher, probably in the third wave there in white. The white target box here is sort of the next milestone target I already mentioned to you a couple of weeks ago. We are now nearly there. This is also where an all-time high is located, between 73.5 and 74.5K. So this is pretty much what you saw on the daily chart here, right? Around the 138% extension, just with a little bit more detail. And you can see that in the white count, in this third wave, we even have more space to extend higher. So above that level, we have 78K as next upside target, yeah? And I have to say, you know, that actually another 4-5 pattern would look good. And then another 4-5, and then another 4-5. So there's still more upside potential there. I can tell you that if there is a pullback into support, I will first see this as an internal fourth wave within a still unfolding wave C of circle 3. If we break below 69,770, I will assume we are already in circle 4. And if we then break below that support as well, which I can't define yet, then I assume we are already in the larger degree fourth wave. So they are all, however, bullish scenarios. Yeah, as I said, assumption is Bitcoin is on its way to 90K plus, 100K plus. Maybe not directly. What do I mean with that? Back to the daily chart. What we talked about before is that, yeah, we're watching for a breakout, but it could just be a fake out because shortly afterwards, that wave 4 should start, right? And a dip into support becomes likely before we go higher in wave 5. So that could catch a lot of people out. Definitely something I'm watching for. But as I said, I'm not going to tell you this fourth wave is starting until we get at least a break below upper micro support on the 1 hour chart, which is the main purpose for tracking this shorter time frame anyway, right? Because as I said, there are a couple of wave degrees here that could play out. And only, as long as we stay above 69,770, this is all within the scope of a very direct, aggressive uptrend. What I also will do, I will remove here this support area. We don't need that, and adjust the main support area that we also have on the daily chart. Then we have it all up to date here. And what we could do is, we'll leave it for now. You know, whenever it becomes apparent that this circle 4 is unfolding, I will add support for it when needed. The microstructure might shift a little bit here and there, but overall, it's telling us at the moment the trend is still up. Just note that we're now just below all-time high, so there could be a bit of a rejection here from that area. Will be interesting to see. But as I said, the white count has potential to go higher. We haven't even completed this internal fourth wave. Now, that being said, we are on a very small time frame. There are wave distortions always, so I wouldn't rely too much on a very clean microstructure, but overall the levels are there to guide us. So I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.